We hit 100 subs, so as a thank you for that, I'm gonna be putting myself through pain. And just super quick before we get into this rebuild, the support on the last few videos has been absolutely insane. I bumped the like goal up to 15 and we've been getting 20 plus, quite a few over that, so on this video let's see if we can hit 20 likes, and if we can, I will have a new video out as soon as possible. And just today when I woke up, we gained an extra like 10 subscribers overnight as of the time I'm recording this, so thank you for that. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already, and turn on notifications for my channel because all that helps me out more than you could imagine. Also, comment down below what type of rebuild you want to see next or what team you want me to rebuild next. And if I pick your comment, I will give you a shout out, I'll sub to you, tell people to sub to you, all that good stuff. And if you want to vote for what team I rebuild next, I take all the recent comments, throw them up on Instagram, put them on my story, and have people vote. So if you want to be a part of that, follow my Instagram, there's a link in the description. But that's all the plugging I'm gonna do. I just wanted to take a quick second to say thank you so much for 100 subscribers. The last few videos have been going absolutely crazy for my channel standard, and yeah, I just want to say a quick thank you. But again, 20 likes for a new video as soon as possible, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Hello everyone, it is Brandon the Simp here, and today we are taking on what is known as the hardest Madden rebuild, and that is the 0 overall team rebuild. Now, I spent quite a lot of time making all these 0 overall players, so I would appreciate if you do support the video, all that good stuff. I know I plugged way too much in the intro and now I'm doing it again, but like still. I put a lot of effort into my videos, so yeah. But this is my 100 subscriber special, and I thought what better way to celebrate 100 subscribers than put myself through hell. Now, how I'm gonna do this is this first year is basically just a throwaway. I'm not allowed to sign any free agents up until, you know, free agency and all that. We're gonna have to rock with the 0 overall players. Now, I know obviously it says there are 12 overall, but I think most of you know by this point that's just the minimum for Madden. I mean, all their ratings are 0, with the exception of a couple players, because apparently if you make them in franchise mode, the lowest their ratings can go is apparently 1, but that's close enough. But what I'm gonna try to do today is I'm gonna try to at least make the playoffs. I'm not gonna stop this rebuild until I can make the playoffs. Now, that might be a bit of a bad idea because I don't know how hard it's gonna be to do that. I don't know how good we can make this team within the span of just a few years, so it's probably gonna take quite a few years. So buckle in, get some snacks, get a drink, get all that kind of good stuff. I think we're in this for the long haul. I guess you'll know by how long this video is, but yeah, that's enough talking. Let's just sim out this year to the playoffs. So yeah, I guess I will see you guys at the end of year number 1. Alright, here at the end of year number 1, we finish 0-17. Who would have guessed? But if you look up at the top there, we lost 114-0 to the Arizona Cardinals. That's probably what the rest of our season looked like too. But I'm kind of curious, what was the closest game we played in? I bet we got within like 60 of a team maybe. Okay, there's the preseason. Yeah, just absolutely smoked. Did we put up a single point all year? No, we did not. The closest we got was within 77 points twice with the Texans and the Rams. That's interesting. Oh, and the Vikings we got within 77. But I'm curious, what do these season stats look like? I'm guessing not very good, but maybe some of our defensive players did well because they were on the field so much. So Tyler Bray had 1,300 yards, 0 touchdowns, 33 interceptions. I'm kind of surprised that's not higher, to be honest. In terms of rushing, nobody had positive yards. The best was, I guess, all these players who had 0. You and I, watching this video, did better than our starting running back. We had more yards than our starting running back this year, which is interesting. In terms of receiving, JoJo Natson had a 421 yards. I wish he had 1 yard less, but that's surprising that he actually did okay. And for sacks, David Steinmetz and Dino Boyd each let up 54 sacks. But wait, huge shout out to Najee Turan. He only let up 2 sacks? That doesn't seem right. How did he only let up 2 sacks on the year while our other players let up 54? I don't know, that's really interesting. So in terms of tackles, I'm kind of surprised we didn't have more considering how much our defense would be on the field. But Ugo Amadi led the team in tackles with 131. Bronte Harris had 117, and Aaron Doncour had 105. For tackles for loss, we had 0. For sacks, we had 0. For interceptions, we had 0. For pass deflections, we surprisingly had some. And forced fumbles, we had 0. So not the greatest year I've ever seen. We had 944 total offensive yards, 11,505 defensive yards. Oh my god. Let's check yearly awards. Of course it's gonna be Kyler because he got to play us twice a year. I'm really surprised someone like Jimmy G isn't in here and Aaron Donald's in here for MVP. That's actually really interesting. A defensive player's in here. He must have had like 30 plus sacks or something. But I'm surprised there's no Jimmy G or Matt Stafford in here or their running backs. But for NFC Offensive Player of the Year, clearly goes to Kyler Murray. There's Elijah Mitchell. This is just to see how bad players shit on us. So Aaron Donald clearly wins Defensive Player of the Year. JJ Watt was in there. Jason Verrett was in there. He must have got a lot of interceptions off of us. Leonard Floyd is in there. Nick Bosa's in there. For Offensive Rookie of the Year, Elijah Mitchell, Trey Sermon. This is bullying at this point. Zaven Collins is up there for Defensive Rookie of the Year. But I want to check out what Aaron Donald's stats were. He actually got up there for offensive, or MVP, that's what I mean. He got up there for MVP. So he had, 25 sacks. Honestly, I thought that was going to be more for him to place in MVP, but that clearly breaks the single season record. And Leonard Floyd had 16.5. So yeah, you're welcome, Aaron Donald, for breaking the defensive sacks record. And I want to see how many interceptions Jason Verrett had. He had 9. I'm actually really curious how many of those were off of us. But yeah, that was definitely quite the year. But let's get into the offseason now. I don't think any of these players are going to be on the team next year. Struggling QB, nah man, I don't know about that. I mean, Tyler Bray is just a team player. He's a good sport. He completed 33 passes to the defense. He wanted to be a good sport. But the Cincinnati Bengals take down the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl. So we have players ready to negotiate. I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Let's get into this offseason. And I think my game plan here is going to be to sign just really young, high upside players. We're not going to do well this year anyways, so there's no point in signing any good players to try to compete. So we're just going to go for really young, high upside players. So I'll try to find some good ones and then I will show you guys who those are going to be. So in free agency, these are the players I'm going to go after. At quarterback, we're going after Tyler Huntley. He is the current Baltimore Ravens backup quarterback, if you do not know. He played last year and looked all right. I think that was just because of the style of their offense, and he fits that pretty well. In real life, I don't necessarily know if he would be good with another team, but here, it's Madden, so he could be decent. At running back, we're going after Puka Williams. I think he is a pretty underrated player, not necessarily underrated, but I think he could be good if given the opportunity, plus he's only 23 years old. At receiver, we're going after Deontay Harris and Dez Fitzpatrick. I'm not the biggest Dez Fitzpatrick fan, but I do kind of like Deontay Harris. At tight end, we're going after Juwan Johnson. I believe he was like a running back or something, or a receiver, and the Saints moved him to tight end, and he's actually pretty good. So he'll be our starter, at least for this year, maybe next year. And for the offensive line, we're just going with some younger players. Probably the worst player I've ever seen in Michael Jordan. Definitely the opposite of the other Michael Jordan. Tristan Colon Castillo, Jack Anderson, Jake Curran, goated Seahawks lineman. For the defensive line, we're going Jabari, dangerous last name, we'll call him Zufella, and Jacob Tuioti Mariner, who has looked good at times in real life. At defensive tackle, we're going Marvin Wilson. I think he's a good player. He was a great player coming out of Florida State, and I think he went undrafted, which was a huge surprise, but I think, again, if given the opportunity, he could be pretty good. I believe he had like off the field issues or something. Marquise Copeland is going to be our right defensive end. I'm going to be honest, if you asked me who this is, I would not be able to tell you. There are very few players that I don't really know in the NFL, and this is one of them. I don't really know who Marquise Copeland is. Alton Robinson, goated Seahawks player. I think, again, if given the opportunity, he could be good in real life. And at middle linebacker, we're going after Chris Barnes and Ben Burkervin, another player that I think, if given the opportunity, could be very good. I was very high on him coming out of Washington. At corner, we're just going after Nick Needham and Miles Bryant, two younger players. At free safety, we're going Kenny Robinson, and at strong safety, we're going Jalen Elliott. At kicker, we're going Matt Matt Gay, the GOAT, goated last name, and Michael Dixon, the GOAT. So yeah, I just clearly went after a lot of players. I tried to go a little bit after players that I think could be good in real life, but I mostly just went for younger players, so we will see how many of them sign, and then we will get into the NFL draft. Alright, so it looks like almost everybody accepted. The only player to reject is Michael Dixon. Alright, man, whatever. Now, if I were one of these players, I would not sign to this team because it is terrible, but it's Madden, so they don't have that kind of logic. We'll just sign Bradley Pinion, who I think just signed with the Falcons in real life or something. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I think he did. Oh, and actually, teams are going after Tyler Huntley, so I might have to go after a different quarterback, unfortunately. Let's go after Kyle Trask. That would be interesting. We're probably just going to draft a quarterback anyways, but we'll see if Kyle Trask can do okay. Alright, and just like that, we get all the last 4 players we were going after. So here is a look at the team, obviously really bad. The defense is a little better looking than the offense, but the goal of this season is just going to be to find budget players that can develop and then fill out the roster with actual good players in the next year. So let's get into the draft and we'll see what kind of damage we can do. Alright, so that was the biggest pain in the ass of all time. So obviously we didn't have our correct picks because this isn't technically the right draft, because we were supposed to have 2 first-round picks when in reality we had 0. So I tried to get the Jets pick. I tried to take some of their players to trade them back to them to get their first round pick, but apparently the number 1 overall pick is too valuable, so I had to trade the Jets players to like the Eagles and get their pick, which is only at 10. And then I had to take Russell Wilson and trade him back to the Broncos to get what we actually got from the Russell Wilson trade. It was just a big mess. But here we have the number 3 overall pick when we should, in reality, have the number 1 pick. And I guess what I'm going to go for is maybe a quarterback, although the 2 I probably wanted have already gone. Just kidding, Sergio Person is here. He looks amazing. So we have him fully scouted because he was a focus player for me. He is a top 5 talent. That is actually pretty rare for quarterbacks. He is 6'3", 235, only 21 years old, out of Florida. Not fast or anything, ran a 5.02 at the combine, 18 reps on the bench is good. But he is A awareness, A break sack, A play action, A throw accuracy mid, A throw accuracy deep, and B's for quite a few stats. So he looks like a very good player. Let's take him. I hate my life. He has normal dev. Well, that's unfortunate. But either way, he does look like a very good quarterback. He's going to be thrown into the fire this year, obviously, with how this offense is looking. So overall, he looks like a good player. Just unfortunately, no dev trait. Here, I think we're going to take Marquise Griffin. He's a projected top 5 talent. He is 6'4", 314, only 21 years old, also out of Florida, so we're teaming the teammates back up. He is a freak. He ran a 4.86 at the combine, put up 43 reps on the bench. His stats don't look amazing, but he's a top 5 talent. B awareness, B power moves, but he does have A play rec, A impact block, A tackle, so he looks like a very good run defender. Let's take him. And I knew it, he has normal dev. I hate this game so much. But either way, he is a good player. Unfortunately, no dev trait like I said, but either way, good player. Here we are going to take Zach Mitchell. He is 6'5", 318, again, only 21 years old, out of USC. Hopefully this player has a dev trait. Not fast, but he's a lineman, so who cares. 31 reps on the bench is very good. He has B awareness, A pass block power, A pass block finesse, so a very good pass protector. I love that. Let's take him. And he does actually have hidden. So yeah, he is a very good pass protector, and he's actually 6'5". I wonder if I could sneak him in at tackle or something. We'll have to see when the season starts, but yeah, he looks like a very good player, and I'm very happy with him. Here, I think we're going to take Pierre Freeman. He looks like a very good pass rusher, only 21 years old, ran a 4.76 at the combine, which isn't great, but I do like the 23 bench reps. The thing I really like about him is the power moves. He doesn't look necessarily great at anything else, but he is very young and has good power moves, and I was looking for a power rushing edge rusher, and I think this is the guy. So let's take him. He has normal like I expected, but I do expect him to be a decent player, which is really what we need this year. And with that, I think I'm just going to sim out the rest of the draft. And with the last pick I think I'm going to take, we're going to go with Lloyd Spillman. He's 5'9", 181, only 22 years old, out of Purdue. So definitely like a slot corner type. He ran a 4.36 at the combine, had a 36.2-inch vertical jump, so he is very fast and athletic. And his stats don't even look too bad either. C awareness, B block shed. Unfortunately, we don't know any of his coverage stats because EA, but either way, looks like a good player, so let's take him. And he, like I expected, does have normal, but again, it's all about the overalls here. It would be nice to have a dev trait, but I don't think we're going to be getting any here, unfortunately. Good looking player though, and I'm very happy that we took him. So with that, let's sim out the rest of the draft and we will see how we did. Alright, I just struggled to plug my controller in for a solid 5 minutes because I'm a dumbass, but here is a recap of the draft. Honestly, it's a little disappointing. Sergio Person, I thought he would be like a 78 overall, because if you remember, I don't know if I showed it actually, but he was a projected top 5 talent, so I thought that would be more like, 78 instead of 76, but I don't know why I clicked away. He is a very good player. I love the 93 throw power. He's definitely a deep shot type of quarterback. Good throw power, good deep accuracy, can get out of the pocket a little bit. So yeah, he looks like a very good player, a very good person. See what I did there? And yeah, hopefully he can be our quarterback of the future. Up next is Marquise Griffin. He's about what I expected. I thought he would be a 78. But yeah, that 95 strength, 79 block shed, 82 tackle, 76 speed is really good, obviously. I'm recording this a few days later because this is the first opportunity I've gotten, so I don't fully remember the players, but, well, I mostly do, yeah. Up next is Zach Mitchell, who's actually better than I thought he would be. He's a 75 overall. Now, he's not as strong as I thought he would be. I thought he would have more like 90 strength. I guess we saw that earlier, but yeah, overall, he looks like a very good player, a very good, powerful pass blocker, which is very interesting. So yeah, very good player. And outside of those three, literally nobody else was good. Pierre Freeman is bad. I thought he would be like a 70-ish, but have normal dev, but no, he's a 67. He'll be like a depth player. Lloyd Spillman's okay. He might get some playing time at 69 overall, but nothing crazy at all, just very fast. We have Deshaun Seiler, who I think I checked earlier, and yeah, he does have hidden. So he's more of like a jump ball type receiver, 87 spec catch, no route running, not super fast, but he's a very developable player, I guess, if that's even a word. And then I don't know if any of these guys have a dev trait. I'm too lazy to check through all of them. We had pick 420, hot funny. But yeah, very good draft, at least in the first few rounds, and then it kind of fell off, but anything helps at this point. And we have upgrade. Oh, it's just these guys. Never mind. So let me deal with this roster real quick, and then we will get into a breakdown of the team going into year number 2 of the rebuild. Technically number 1, because I mean we had no shot year 1, but still. Also, super quick before I get into a team breakdown, I just want to give a super quick shout out to all the regular commenters on my videos, like Unknown, the football player 8196, Thin Blue Anthem, Forgiven Snags, everyone who regularly comments and just comments in general and even just watches the videos in general. I appreciate all of you. I just started this channel a few months ago, but it's already going much better than I expected, so thank you for that. But here is a breakdown of the team going into year number 2 of the rebuild. Obviously, we have the new quarterback, Sergio Person. He looks like a very good player. I don't love the normal dev, but nonetheless, he looks like a good player. Nonetheless, I never say that. I moved Zach Mitchell to left tackle because he kind of has a tackle build at 6'5", 318. He's not a slow player at all, so he definitely works at tackle. And I did go into free agency and sign a few players like Jack Driscoll, Justin Jackson, Jalen Rager. I pretty much just filled out the team and snagged a few starters if there were decent ones there. Nothing major. But yeah, speaking of that, here's a look at the defense. Obviously, a massive upgrade from year number 1, a 71 overall upgrade. So I guess that's the biggest upgrade I've ever had in my rebuilds before, technically, by default. So let's sim the year out. Or I won't sim the year out. I'll sim to the mid-season. We'll see what we're doing there, and we'll assess if there are any players that are doing really poorly. It's going to be basically an upgrade of year 1. I don't expect to make the playoffs this year. If we do, the rebuild ends there. That's the goal I set, but I highly doubt that'll happen. So we'll see who's doing well at the mid-season, how the whole team itself is doing. So let's sim there. Hopefully we're doing okay. Alright, so at the mid-season point of year number 2, technically year number 1, but no, technically year number 2, We are 1-5. So we got our first win of the rebuild, which is interesting. I wonder who that was against. Who did we embarrass? No, not league schedule. I'm a dumbass. We beat the Arizona Cardinals. The definition of poverty. I'm sorry. I'm not wrong, though. I don't think they've ever done very well in the playoffs necessarily, but no, I guess they were in a Super Bowl like 12 years ago, but that's about it. I'm sorry, Cardinals fans, you don't deserve that. Kind of. But we have a breakout player here. Let's see who this is. That's actually pretty interesting. I appreciate you involving in... Okay. So it's a receiver, I guess? Deontay Harris. Ooh, that could be huge if he goes up to superstar. I can't speak. But yeah, that's a big order. 150 yards and three touchdowns. That might be tough, but we do have an upgrade for Deshaun Seiler. I have him starting as our number 2, like you saw, so that's pretty good. Plus 3 deep route. I guess we're going to turn him into a good deep threat, basically like a DK Metcalf type, but slow. That's interesting. And just some other... I guess a couple of these players are even starters. Typically for rebuilds, those would be depth pieces, but I guess here they're starters. I don't know how I feel about that, but here... No, not mock draft. I'm fucking stupid. I was going to check re-signings, but I want to check the stats first. I want to see who is doing well, who's worthy of re-signing, who's doing poorly. Sergio Person is not doing well. 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, but 8 interceptions is a lot. 60% completion percentage, 80.8 passer rating, not ideal. Puka Williams is doing terrible. I'm probably going to bench him for Justin Jackson. Yeah, I probably will. Jawan Johnson is our leading receiver with almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Deontay Harris has 384 and 2. Deshaun Seiler has 297 and 4. I'm not going to go through the full stats, just because it is the midseason. I'm probably going to bench Tristan Colon Castillo. He has 4 sacks at the midseason point as a center. Not ideal. Michael Jordan is doing very well, which, fun fact, I believe he got beat so bad that he got like shoved into Joe Burrow's leg and fucked his knee up. That's why he was out for like half a year. He either got shoved into him or beat so bad that the other guy fell into his leg or something like that. But I think Michael Jordan got like pancaked into Joe Burrow's leg and fucked up his ACL and everything like that. So that's fun. But here he's actually doing well. And on the defense, not much pressure, but Pierre Freeman has 3 sacks. That is interesting. Alton Robinson has 2. Not many interceptions. So we're 32nd in offense, 7th in defense. We probably had an early bye or something. Yeah, we only played 6 games, so that doesn't matter. But here we have re-signings. Who are we going to re-sign? I don't know if I want Jacob Tuioti Mariner back yet. I'll see at the end of the year. I feel like that's going to be the case for a lot of these players. I mean, I guess I can't re-sign any till the end of the year, so we'll reassess at the end of the year more for this. I just wanted to see how the team was doing, and yeah, you are getting benched. Let's throw in, who is this? DeAndre Warmack. He's a pass protector, so hopefully he's a little better in pass protection than the other guy was. He is god-awful at run blocking. Oh my god. But yeah, we'll see how he does. So I'll see you guys at the end of year number 2. Hopefully, I don't know what I'm hoping for with this year, honestly. Hopefully some of our younger players do well. I guess that's what we can hope for. Yay. All right, at the end of year number 2, we actually finished 6-11. That is not bad. I mean, we're coming off of a terrible loss to the Saints, but we do finish 6-11, better than the Rams. Just want to point that out. So let's see how the team did this year. So Sergio Person actually didn't finish too bad. 4,600 yards, 34 touchdowns is pretty good. 17 interceptions is a lot. 63% completion percentage isn't great. But overall, for a rookie, he was pretty decent. Oh, I forgot to start Justin Jackson. Either way, Puka Williams was not good, and I don't think our run game was going to be good either way. So it looks like I'm probably going to look for a running back this offseason. Yeah, the running game was not it. But we had 3 1,000-yard receivers. Deontay Harris had 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns, which isn't a lot, but the yards were good. Deshaun Seiler had 1,100 yards and 13 touchdowns. Okay. Jawan Johnson had 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. That was very good. Jalen Reagor actually had 800 yards and 3 touchdowns. So very good performance from our receivers because we were so pass heavy. Zach Mitchell was not very good in his rookie year. He is up to an 80 overall, but 14 sacks is not it. Jack Driscoll was very good at right tackle, only letting up 7 sacks. I was going to say Tristan Colon Castillo turned it around, but I forgot we benched him for DeAndre Warmack, who let up less sacks in more snaps. So that's cool. Jack Anderson and Michael Jordan each let up 4 sacks. On the defensive side of the ball, Chris Barnes led the team with 148 tackles. Ben Burkervin came in second with 110. Lloyd Spillman had 105. For tackles for loss, we had 19 from Marquise Griffin, 16 from Alton Robinson, and then just an amount from players. I don't know, dude. Alton Robinson led the team in sacks with 6. That's not great. I mean, he had a good year, but the fact that 6 was the most is kind of Pierre Freeman fell off in the second half of the year, only finishing with 5 sacks and like no tackles for loss, only 2. Marquise Griffin and Nick Garcia each had 4 sacks. A depth player had as many sacks as our starters. That's cool, or almost as many. And in terms of interceptions, Lloyd Spillman led the team with 4. Okay. I have a bad habit of clicking on players. I don't know why I do it. I don't know. I'm terribly sorry. It's probably not fun to watch. Nick Needham had 3 interceptions. Ben Burkervin also had 3. So pretty good years in terms of interceptions, considering we only had like 3 at the midseason point. So it looks like pass rush and our running game are the 2 worst things with this team, but let's check yearly awards. So Zeke wins MVP. That's very interesting. And Cam Newton on the Panthers comes in at 5. Weird. I don't think I've ever seen Cam on the Panthers in this game. That's a new one. For Offensive Player of the Year, Zeke wins that. No Seahawks. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Robert Quinn. No Seahawks. Offensive Rookie of the Year does go to Sergio Person. I was thinking it was either going to be him or Deshaun Seiler, but Deshaun Seiler comes in at number 2. So we get top 2 for Offensive Rookie of the Year. You know, I would hope so, considering how many rookies we're playing, but still. Defensive Rookie of the Year does go to Lloyd Spillman. That is interesting. It's kind of hard to get Defensive Rookie of the Year with a DB, or at least like a corner, but we do it here. Marquise Griffin all the way down at 5. I thought he would be higher, and Troy Clement coming in at 9. I think that was our strong safety. So overall, not the best year, but I'm happy with the performance of some of our players. So let's get into this offseason. I feel good going into this offseason knowing that I know what our problems are. Let's hope that no new ones arise next year. I guess that's the right word. But yeah, let's get into the offseason. Let's re-sign some players and let's make some upgrades to this team. Okay, well that's a new one. The Colts absolutely smack the Cowboys 24-8. I typically see the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, but I never see them getting smacked by the Colts, and we have a lot of upgrades here. So we have 2 for Lloyd Spillman, who obviously won Defensive Rookie of the Year. And quick tip for anyone watching, if you have a DB and you want him to get a lot of man coverage, even though here he got zone coverage, or at least fill the man archetype better, always use zone, because most of the time it will get them at least 1, but sometimes even 2 upgrades into that, unless their man coverage is already very high. So yeah, those were some good upgrades. We got him from a 72 to a 75 with just 2 upgrades. And then Sergio Person obviously wins that too. Did he div up though? Div up? I meant dev up. I'm tired. I can't speak when I'm tired. I don't know if he would have. I think I might give it to him anyways, just because. Okay, he did. Good. All right, so that's actually huge. And yeah, his stats are really good. He got a throw power. I don't know if I just got that, but that's actually huge. Deep accuracy, obviously still very good. He looks like a really good player considering he's just coming off his rookie year. So I'm very happy with how a lot of that went. But here for re-signings, I definitely want Jack Driscoll back. He was very good for us, only letting up 7 sacks. So we might replace him in the next year, but as long as he's playing well, I definitely want him. Who else played well for us? Jalen Reagor definitely did. I'll just bring him back. Okay, he rejects us. Well, fuck you too then. DeAndre Warmack was actually pretty good. So if nothing else, he'll be there as a depth piece. I guess I'll bring Kevin Givens back just to be a depth player. No, he doesn't. Okay, fuck you too then. So I guess a lot of the guys down here are just depth pieces. We didn't really have to re-sign as many players as I thought we would have to. So I'll re-sign some of the players down here just so I don't have to worry about that later. And then let's get into free agency. In free agency, it did the stupid glitch where it automatically makes every player that needs a contract a free agent, and it has that little free agent badge right there in the middle, and it shows like our old team overalls from the beginning of last year and their ages. If you want to fix this glitch, if it happens to you, just back all the way out to the home screen, then go back in. It's a pretty easy fix, but it's a really weird, stupid glitch that seems easy to fix, but it's EA, so they don't. They probably don't even know about it, or they do and they don't care, which is more likely. Oh, I accidentally went to Ultimate Team, I'm a dumbass. And just like that, it should be fixed. Unfortunately, it doesn't fix that pretty much every player that wasn't already signed gets pushed into free agency. So it kind of creates massive free agency classes. Like we have 4 quarterbacks over an 80 overall. That never happens. It's just kind of weird. But let me work out some contracts and then I will get back with you in a second. So these are the players I'm going to go after here. Obviously number 1 being Kareem Hunt, mostly because our running game was terrible this last year. Not that the running game is that important in the playbook I'm running, which is Tampa Bay's, which in my opinion is the best playbook. It's by far the most pass heavy, but still, Kareem Hunt typically plays very well in this game, except for in my last rebuild, which was weird, but if you haven't seen that, go watch it. It was the Lions. And here we are going for Brian Burns, obviously not going to play him at defensive end. We're going to move him back to linebacker, but we're offering him a 3-year, $54 million deal, which honestly seems like kind of a steal. If he was listed at a linebacker, he would be worth like double that, but normally he doesn't do very well in this game. We'll see how he does here. I think he'll do all right. Next, we have Mecole Hardman, just a younger receiver. He'll be our number 1 immediately, so I like that a lot. We have Greedy Williams, again, another just younger, high upside player. Connor McGovern. Our line wasn't terrible last year, but it would be nice to get an upgrade in Zach Allen, just because we don't have really any defensive linemen right now, and he pretty well fits our scheme. I think he's better in a 4-3, but he works as a 3-4. Coming out of Boston College, I think is where he went. Yeah, coming out of Boston College, I was very high on him, but he went to the wrong scheme. He went to Arizona where they run a 3-4. I feel like he's way better as a 4-3, but anyways, we'll see how many of those players sign. Hopefully we get all of them. If not, it's not the end of the world because we still have the draft coming up, and honestly, I hope I don't get all of them so we have something to do in the draft. But either way, let's see who we get. Okay, so it looks like we actually get everyone except Zach Allen, which I'm very much okay with. We're just going to have to draft a lot of D linemen in this draft because I think we only have one good defensive tackle, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, definitely D-line, interior D-line will be our need in this draft, but we're already up to a 77 overall, which is about where the Seahawks are in real life in my custom rosters, which these are, by the way. I don't know if I've already mentioned that, but yeah, going into the draft, this is already a pretty good looking team. I mean, our biggest holes are defensive end. Obviously, Brian Burns won't be there. Safety, we're kind of lacking true superstars other than Brian Burns and our quarterback, and now Kareem Hunt, I guess. So we'll see what kind of damage we can do in the draft. We also definitely need a center unless we want to start Warmack again, who did all right. But let's get into the draft, and hopefully there's some good players. Alright, so in the draft we have the number 10 overall pick, which is pretty good. I thought it would be a little higher considering we were 6 and 11, but I mean, either way, top 10 is pretty good. The Lions had the number 1 pick. I don't know who they picked because for some reason the screen is bugged. Shocker, I know. But what do I want to do here? I think here I'm going to take Anton Wilson. He's 6'4", 313, only 21 years old out of USC. You're in a 4.71 at the combine, which is pretty good for a 313-pound player, and put up 34 reps on the bench. He has B awareness, B block shed, B tackle. Overall, his stats are meh, but I like his combine, so let's take him. And he does have normal like I expected. But I expected that. He's a fast player at 313 pounds with 82 speed, so I like that a lot. Should have a dev trait because, I mean, he's an athletic freak, but it's EA, so they don't really know what kind of players would and wouldn't develop. Here, I'm going to take Grant Gibbs. I accidentally took him early, but I was going to take him anyways. But yeah, he's 6'2", 301, only 21 years old out of Ole Miss. Which, you know, fun fact, players in Madden typically develop much more at a younger age, which is interesting. But yeah, look at those stats. A lead block, A pass block, A run block finesse, A run block power. He's a very good player and should be a good starting center for the rest of the rebuild. Here, I think I'm going to take Ross Boston, which is a really fun name. He's 6'3", 309, already 23 years old out of NC State, left-handed just like me for real. He's really slow, but he's really strong. I expect this player to have a normal dev trait. He looks like a pure run defender, no pass rush at all. But it'll be a good second defensive tackle or like third something. I don't know. We'll take him though. Yeah, he does have normal, but he's a very strong player. Just a good run defender. Might be a bit early to take him, but either way, he'll probably be like a 73, 74 overall. So good player to take here. Oh, and I completely forgot. I need safeties pretty bad. I probably should have done that before I took that guy. There aren't many good safeties here, but the best looking one I see is Justin Harris. He's 6'4", 204, only 22 years old out of Clemson, And I don't know for sure if this is anything, but it seems like players around that build, like 6'4", around 200 pounds-ish, typically end up being good safeties. I think I said players the first time, but I meant safeties around that build end up being good players. Because he ran a 4.55, put up 19 reps on the bench. 4.55 isn't anything great, but 19 reps is pretty good for a safety. C awareness, C play rec isn't great at all, but I do like the A pursuit. This is the best looking guy that was here. Everyone else was pretty bad, honestly, but let's take him. He does have hidden. Okay, that is a good sign. He might actually be like a 69, 70 overall with hidden. He has 88 speed, 87 excel, 73 strength is pretty good. So yeah, looks like a pretty good player. We'll have to see after the draft. And I think with that, unless the last player I want is still here, okay, he is not. So I think with that, I'm just gonna sim out the rest of the draft. Actually, this guy's really fast. Let's just take him for the hell of it. Vince Tate, not as fast as I thought he would be. I don't know, he'll probably be a good like 7th corner or something. Probably won't even make the team, but let's just sim out the rest of the draft. Hopefully we took some good players. I think we did. Here is a look at the team going into year number 2 of the rebuild. Here is a look at the team going into year number 3 of the rebuild. Obviously some big upgrades in this offseason, adding Kareem Hunt, Mecole Hardman, Grant Gibbs, the center, Brian Burns, Greedy Williams. Like, this has become a genuinely decent team. So let me finish setting the roster out and putting everyone where they should be, and then I will see you guys at the mid-season point of year number 3. Oh my god. At the mid-season point of year number 2, we are 6-0. So let's check out some of the stats this year, because I didn't really think we were going to be all that good yet, but we are 6-0. Sergio Person's doing pretty well, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Nothing amazing for Madden, but I mean, it's definitely good. Kareem Hunt is doing very well. That was a very big upgrade from the like 2.9 yards per carry we had last year, now up to 5, almost doubled. So that's very nice. The receivers are doing amazing once again. Is the blocking upgraded a lot? Well, Zach Mitchell has only let up 1 sack as a left tackle this whole year. Connor McGovern has let up 0 sacks. Jack Driscoll is doing bad, but oh well. And Marquise Griffin is doing really well as a pass rusher. Brian Burns is doing nothing. And we only have 1 interception. Okay, I don't really think we're gonna finish out all that well, but either way, the fact that we're 6-0 at the midseason point is like insane. So we actually do have a breakout here. I don't know if we're gonna hit that. So what does he have to do? 1 or fewer interceptions. I thought that said incompletions. And 350 scrimmage yards or 4 total touchdowns. Okay. I don't know if that's doable, but we'll see. And we have some upgrades here, some actually pretty important players. So we'll definitely do that. And with that, let's sim a week to see if Sergio Person can get his dev up. And we crushed the Rams 35-14. Let's see, can he get the dev up? Another huge day. Oh shit. Sergio Person is a superstar. Okay, I feel like I should show, I know I said I wasn't gonna do this anymore, because I mean, what's the point of it? But let's check team schedule. Like, see, there are no force wins. Obviously, there's the home for the bye week, but that's just what it sets. I don't know why it seems like that would also be none, because, I mean, there's not a game played, but whatever. But it seems like we've consistently been putting up about 30, 35-ish points every game, but they've all been relatively close games, except for, like, 2. So, yeah, definitely not sustainable, but if we can finish out the year in the playoffs, the challenge will be over. Now, if you want me to do one of these where I have to either make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, let me know down below. I just didn't want to do that because I know even if you have a good team in this game, it's just a lot of RNG. Like, it's really not easy to do that. And the fact that I've been winning a lot of Super Bowls in my recent rebuilds has been interesting. Typically, when I would do rebuilds before, I would just get shit on in the playoffs every year. But yeah, if you want me to do this again, but where I have to make or win the Super Bowl, let me know down below. And let me know by hitting the like button, because that'll let me know you enjoy these type of videos. But we do have some re-signings here, just in case we somehow don't make the playoffs. Ben Burkervin I definitely do want back. Oh yeah, and I did sign Javon Hargrave. He isn't doing much this year, but I mean, he's a decent player, so we'll re-sign him, I guess. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but it probably doesn't matter. So the rest of those players are just depth pieces or below average starters, replacement level starters. So let's sim this out to the end of the year, and hopefully we are in the playoffs. Okay, so I was wrong about us choking the end of the year. We finished 15-2. I guess that's technically 2 more losses than we had at the mid-season point, but 15-2 out of 79 overall? Are you kidding me? But yeah, we have the bye week, and it looks like Sergio Person was absolutely an amazing person. 5,000 yards, 43 touchdowns, only 11 interceptions, which that's not bad at all. I'm not going to complain about that. With a 70% completion percentage, what overall is he up to? He's up to an 84 and an 87 with morale. So he's a very good player. Kareem Hunt had 1,300 yards, 17 touchdowns, no fumbles. Even Puka Williams as a backup had almost 200 yards and 6 touchdowns, so he stole a few. Mecole Hardman led the team in receiving yards with 1,200 and also had 7 touchdowns. Deontay Harris had 1,100 yards with 5 touchdowns, not great. And Deshaun Seiler had 1,000 yards with 12 touchdowns. Amazing year from him. Once again, he is a stud. So it looks like that first rookie class was amazing for us. Juwan Johnson has a bit of a down year, but still a pretty solid year, 764 yards and 6 touchdowns. And Kareem Hunt, even as a receiver, has 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. So just amazing passing game. Oh my God, Grant Gibbs was horrendous. He does have superstar, but 9 sacks as a center. I think that's the most I've ever seen for a center. Other than him, though, the line was mostly good. Jack Driscoll was bad. 11 sacks as a right tackle is not good. But Zach Mitchell, 8 sacks as a left tackle is pretty damn good. Most of the time, if you get like 10 or less as a left tackle, that's pretty good. Typically like 9 or less, so at least for Madden. And Connor McGovern and Michael Jordan each had 3 and 2 respectively. So yeah, Michael Jordan was our best lineman, which is so weird. But yeah, looking at the defensive side of the ball, 142 tackles with Ben Burkervin led the team. That was a really messy sentence. None of that made sense. 124 tackles for Chris Barnes, so it looks like he was a decent signing. Didn't really light up the stat sheet at all, but he had a lot of tackles. Ben Burkervin definitely outplayed him with the 12 tackles for loss. But speaking of tackles for loss, Brian Burns actually picked it up in the second half of the year with 19 tackles for loss. Javon Hargrave had 19, so I don't regret re-signing him. Not that we're going to go to another year anyways, probably, but still, no, we're definitely not. Marquise Griffin had 16 tackles for loss. Ben Burkervin had 12. Alton Robinson had 9. And in terms of sacks, still not amazing numbers, but definitely not bad. 8.5 for Marquise Griffin, 8 for Brian Burns, 5 for Javon Hargrave, 4.5 for Anton Wilson, 3.5 for Alton Robinson. Anton Wilson and Alton Robinson, that's interesting. In terms of interceptions, Greedy Williams and Nick Needham each led the team with 2 interceptions, and Brian Burns and a number of other players each had 1. So overall, this was a very good team. Matt Gay was 9 for 11. Matt Gay did 9-11 confirmed. Yikes. Oh, and let's check yearly awards just to do that. God, I love how laggy this game is. It's fun. Jack Galloway of the Buccaneers won MVP. I'll have to check who that is in a second. Just a rookie quarterback, I'm guessing. Aaron Rodgers on the Ravens wins. No, not wins, but comes in 3rd for MVP. But I completely just glossed over this. Sergio Person almost won MVP. He came in at number 2. That is crazy. I wish he could have won it, but I'll definitely take it. And unfortunately, that probably means he didn't win Offensive Player of the Year either. Yeah, because Jack Galloway's on the Bucs, and that's obviously an NFC team. Jordan Love for the Packers was in there. Carson Wentz. Hold on, these are really weird teams. So we had Aaron Rodgers on the Ravens. The Bucs had a new quarterback. Carson Wentz is on the Panthers. They apparently just love laughable quarterbacks. I mean, I think Carson Wentz is underrated at this point, honestly, but like, still, you probably want a better one than him. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Rashawn Gary. That's interesting. I rarely see him win awards like that. Lorenzo Carter was in there. That's interesting. But Brian Burns actually comes in at number 10. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Walt Killings of the Falcons. That's a pretty good football name, I guess. No, Seahawks. And Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Derek Washington of the Eagles. Anton Wilson comes in at number 4. Justin Harris comes in at 6. I think that was the safety. I'm bad with names in this game. But yeah, Sergio Person gets second for best QB. I want to see who that Bucks QB was and what he played like. Okay, so he had 5,100 yards, which I think is 100 more than our quarterback had, right? Yeah, 100 more. He had 3 less touchdowns and 5 less interceptions and 2% less completion percentage. Call me biased towards our own team, but I think our quarterback maybe should have won that. I mean, I guess he had quite a few less interceptions, but still 3 more touchdowns. I guess he had more yards, but yards don't really matter. Yards are just a product of how much you pass and whatever. I don't know, maybe I'm biased. I think Sergio Person should have won it. But let's see, we do actually have upgrades here. Let's see what this is. Oh, it's actually a lot of players. I thought it was just going to be like 1 or 2. Just a lot of players for our team. But let's get into the divisional round where we are taking on the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to be in a playoff blizzard, and I'm going to do this. This might be a bit of an equalizer because they are a better overall than us. I mean, I guess we played better, but I want at least a bit of an equalizer. So we'll all get that lower just mobility, I guess. And we have more upgrades. Wow, a lot more upgrades actually. Jesus. So let's see. Let's sim this game out. Hopefully we can take down the Atlanta Falcons. And we do not. Oh my god. I thought for sure we were going to win that, but we do lose 37-31. However, this was a very successful rebuild. We turned that team from a 0 overall into an 81, 15-2 team in the matter of what, 2 years? So yeah, you definitely can't complain about that. We had studs like Sergio Person pop off for us, going up to Superstar Dev in 2 years. Deshaun Seiler was a very good player we drafted. Mecole Hardman was amazing for us this year. Kareem Hunt. Michael Jordan played very well, as weird as that is. Like, this team overall just did so well, overachieved so much. I guess that's kind of what'll happen when you have a bunch of players that sign with a team that was just 2 years ago a 0 overall. They definitely are here because they want to win, and they did in a big way. But unfortunately, that is the end of this rebuild. If you want me to do one where I make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, let me know down below. It's kind of sad to see this come to an end because Sergio Person is such a stud, but I guess for however long this video is up, he will forever be on the internet, I guess, forever remembered that way. But if you did enjoy today's video, again, let's see if we can hit 20 likes on this video. The support has been insane lately. The fact that I can already ask for that and just get it on pretty much every video, which, you know, I probably just jinxed it right there. We won't hit it on this one, but the fact that I can do that and the fact that we can hit that is insane. So thank you so much for that. But just be sure to drop a like, a sub, turn on notifications for my channel, because all that helps me out more than you can imagine. Let me know down below what team you want me to do next. But thank you so much for watching. And as always, I will see you guys again in the next video. Goodbye.